Hey guys. Okay, I'm back. It's been a crazy 2 weeks, but it's been a good 2 weeks. And I have 3, maybe 4 separate messages. They're all going to be coherent, okay? But I'm going to do them as 4 parts because each one has its own little niche, all related to the bigger story, okay? And this is all going to transmit into information from 3i Atlas, but it's not just about 3i Atlas, okay? There's more than that going on here right now, so I want to kind of be fair to all the beings who are helping and assisting right now. There are many, 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 many in this collective consciousness that are assisting humanity to awaken and ascend, okay? So I'm going to start with the first one, and I'm asking my guides. We'll start with Egypt, okay? So, all right, with 3i Atlas, one of the things that I have been experiencing, and I said this in the video that I made about 3i Atlas, is I'm literally traveling to these other places to engage physically with this consciousness. And sometimes it will present itself like I'm on a ship with it. Other times I just see the collective of it. Other times I'm getting different downloads in different realms, okay? One of the consistencies I've seen when I'm getting information from 3i Atlas is this ambient color. It's like, guys, it's ambiance. It's like warm amber glow with gold as well, okay? So I want to talk about that for a second because this week it was super, super busy. I couldn't make the video sooner, but 4 or 5 days ago, I was in a connection with 3i Atlas in my sleep, okay? And I saw, what do you guys want to call this? Okay, I saw Atlantis. Honestly, it was magnificent, okay? And I have seen versions of it through past life regressions. I've seen versions of it through my own meditations. This was bigger than that. This was like this massive, what do you want to call it? Yeah, they're saying what I saw was the collective consciousness of Atlantis, but it presented itself as this magnificent city, you guys. Like, I was actually engaging with the consciousness, but the way that the consciousness of Atlantis presents itself is as this beautiful, what is it composed of? It is crystalline. Okay, so this beautiful crystalline structure, okay? So why they're saying this is because, gosh, I hope I can get it to come through because there's so much information. When I encounter the Maya, for example, I will see my Mayan lifetimes, and one of them in particular where I was living inside a cave system with my mother, and my father had already ascended, and he would always come to me in visions, and he would be this golden ray of light, and I'm sure connected to Ra and the solar people and the star people, because my father's side are like very much the people of the stars, okay? So in my ancient lineage and in this life, okay? So when I would encounter the Maya, okay, it would present itself certain ways, and the caves and the mountains were very significant with the Maya. Well, with Atlantis, it's this crystalline, beautiful city, and I'm talking to it, but I'm seeing it as this huge city, okay? Yeah, they're giving me like a download while I'm talking about this, but anyway, so when I encounter 3i Atlas, okay, same thing. I see sometimes a ship, sometimes I see the consciousness. Other times they're showing me things about the other beings that are assisting right now, okay? So I'm writing a note down because there's more. I'm sorry. Okay, so first I see Atlantis 4 or 5 days ago. I'm engaging with its consciousness. We're talking, we're working on things, and I'm like going from one place to the other place, to the other place, to the other place. And it's honestly incredible to encounter. It is a lot for any human, okay? So, but that's why I think we're all channeling right now to help the collective, because there's so much information coming through the scroll keepers, okay? And we are the scroll keepers. So we're doing our best to give you this information, but there are many of us, because it is too much for one human, okay? This has to be a many people project, okay? So imagine 4 or 5 days ago, I'm talking to Atlantis, I'm getting all that conscious information coming through. A couple of days after that, I have another encounter with 3i Atlas, and I'm in this vision driving on the side of what I'm going to call a cliff. It is not a high cliff, and nor do I feel scary on this cliff, which would not be realistic for this life, because in this life I do not like heights and I don't like driving on mountains. I always ask my husband to drive if we travel anywhere hilly or high in altitude. So, but in this place, I'm not afraid of it, and it's not a steep cliff, but it is a cliff, and we're on the edge. Now it has this ambiance, okay, just like I saw with Atlantis, and it has this glow, and I start getting the wave of consciousness of Egypt, okay, ancient Egypt. Now I am very connected to ancient Egypt, have had many Egyptian lifetimes, but I've also had many lifetimes with the Maya. However, I do feel they are all connected, because what the download I got just before this video was there was not all these different tribes the way people have been taught. That's actually not true. Maybe those tribes branched off after the fall of Atlantis, but prior to what happened with Atlantis and Lemuria, we were one, and the oneness was massive, you guys. And so what was Atlantis was huge, and what was Lemuria was huge. There weren't all these different little divisions of tribes, and by little, I'm not meaning to be condescending to any tribe. I myself am a descendant of Choctaw Nation. I know these nations were indeed very advanced, very large, and have so much to teach us. All I'm saying is that before that time, all the tribes were one, and that's what they're showing me. We have experienced oneness. What we're being called to do right now is remember it, okay? So back to the whole thing with Egypt. Egypt's consciousness comes in. It's incredible, you guys, and I'm seeing all this light language in front of me as we're driving along this cliff, and my uncle is with me in this dream. He's not often in my dreams, but when he is, there's a reason, and I'm going to tell you what it was when I looked it up. So there's always symbolism when you get these visions or dreams or visitations. Pay attention to all the details, because they all matter, okay? We're driving along this edge. I'm talking to him in the dream about the discoveries that are being made in archaeology and some things that are going to come forward. And I said to him, so this is what my guides were telling me through my own mouth. I said, Egypt understood eternity. And when I said that, the whole sky before us opened up with all the symbols of light language that collectively are eternal consciousness, okay? So it was quite an experience to witness. So I'm describing it to you the best way that I can. And again, with these ascended consciousness collectives, when you encounter this, it's extremely euphoric and joyful, just like very high frequency, very high realms, okay? But they'll give you all this information, and then it starts to translate later, okay? So with the Egyptian thing, okay, what I was getting from that and what I want to share with you is that the orbs right now that are coming through and the craft are all positioning a certain way to remind you of certain constellations, okay? Again, I do not believe that they are the original constellation. I don't. That's not what my guides have told me. They have told me these lights are in position meant to remind you. But also that position is a sacred symbol, and the sacred symbol enables them to generate a certain frequency related to your life. So whatever you're noticing when you're watching the UAPs and the orbs and all that, like certain consistencies, like certain constellations that are always there, those are actually purposely there, and they are brought to you by collective consciousness, okay? I'm going to touch a little bit on the grid, and that we are the ones creating the experience here. And that's very hard for people to accept, because when we see evil, we can't imagine why we would be creating evil, okay? But I need you to understand that there were programs put in place to try to make you believe that evil was here. Otherwise, it would never have been created here, because these are not creator beings who are planting these seeds. They're trying to use our creative ability, remember? So be very conscious about your thoughts, because what you think becomes real. Okay? So imagine that your higher self and many have strategically placed certain constellations in your sky, okay, and in the skies of many, because those constellations are enabling certain types of portals to be opened, certain frequencies to come through in the proper position, just like light language. Okay, so essentially what they showed me is when I see, like when I meditate with the sun, I'll be in full deep trance with the sun, and I will start to see light language. Okay, and what my guides will show it to me is each light language symbol has a dot at like junction points. Those dots represent stars, but the stars themselves represent portals. Okay, so these three, for example, working together, okay, let's say there's one here, one here, one here, are all portals that have to come together to create transference, is what they're calling it. And the way they're teaching this to me is like how a laser works. 1111, as I said that. So when you focus in a certain light wave, okay, to reach a certain depth, you need it to be actually calibrated exactly right for it to go, for example, into the skin or deeper into the body, or say, for example, when it's being used surgically. Okay, those calibrations are very important. So Egypt gave me this whole download about eternity and the eternal wisdom that is connected to us, that is being communicated through these portals, through light language of the stars. Okay, I have to pause. Give me one moment. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so let me see if I can tie this all in. Okay, because there is a little something that 3i Atlas wanted me to say about moisture. Okay, so if you notice, our atmosphere is getting moist, very dewy, very cloudy, very moist. Okay, a lot of people want to go into the whole rabbit hole of the chemtrails and all the stuff. Okay, but that is not what my guides are saying to me about it. Okay, they're not even worried about that. And just keep in mind, we are dealing with extremely advanced beings in technology. They are not worried about what we think is threatening things. No. Those things are no threat to these collective consciousness beings and their ships and all the stuff, okay? In fact, they are telling me to tell you what I saw last week in the dream with 3i Atlas was ships are everywhere right now. Everywhere, okay? They're in the atmosphere. You cannot perceive them yet, okay? Because they are being manifested here. That's literally the best way to describe it. So the more the starseeds wake up, this is why information suppression has been such a big deal from the nefarious, okay? The more we wake up, we are the ones portaling them in, you guys. We are portaling in our brothers and sisters, our soul family, through our consciousness. What I just said is so huge. All the light around me just changed, okay? What do you want me to say about this 3i Atlas? They are the portals to the awakening of humanity. And by they mean us, okay? And this is why, although it may not be the greater majority of humanity waking up, right? Like, I don't even know what the population is, but, that doesn't matter. What matters is that the ones that are carrying the key codes and the scrolls, okay, are waking up. We are the pillars of the new earth. Okay, so we're portaling in these things, whether we knew it or not, okay? And this was why, such a great attempt to keep humanity asleep was attempted, okay? And what my guides always call us is sleeping giants. We are the giants, okay? And so Egypt was giving me a download about how this works and how the stars are communicating information to us through our subconscious mind, helping us to be able to portal these craft in. This is why in certain areas there's more activity than others, okay? So some of it is because certain starseeds are already awake and they're doing all the grid work and they're connecting with the earth and they're doing the things. The area where I am is active all the time, but I've been working that grid for years, okay? the more people do that, the more they go out there, meditate with the stars, connect with the sun, connect with the earth, the more you're going to see more and more of this. So if you want more activity as far as this kind of communication, get outside and focus on nature, okay? And connecting your body with nature. That opens your portals, okay? And one of the best ways to do it, and I tell people this all the time, is to open the portal of the heart, okay? And the very, very simple way to do that is think of what you love the most, even just one thing. It could be like your puppy, it could be your child, it could be your garden, it could be a memory you have of yourself. It doesn't matter what it is, just something that brings you joy. As soon as you think of it, you feel your heart expand and you've opened the heart portal. As it opens, just set your intention to connect with the interdimensionals of Mother Earth and Father Sky. That your intention is to be the bridge, the in-between, the sacred in-between, okay? And that's an activation of a memory that it will come through and you will start connecting more with all of this, okay? So they're saying, they're telling me something. They're saying that they gave us the codes to eternal life. And that's what they showed me in the vision, but we are carrying them, okay? Many of us are carrying these keys. They're saying, not everything about Egypt was as it should have been, but much of it, okay? So they're saying don't become, but what they mean is they're cautioning, don't become so obsessed with what we think ancient Egypt is or was that we accept all. No, that's not discerning. They want us to be discerning, okay? But they will assist, they're saying. They will assist with helping us to know what matters from that sacred lifetime. Same thing with the Mayans. Same thing with Atlantis and Lemuria. You know, every civilization, especially these that ascended, that were so wise, okay, still had things that they could have done better. And that's what they're saying. It's like, we now have a broader perspective. Please allow us to guide you. This is also why they said my uncle was in the dream. The uncle symbolism. I looked this up because I knew it meant something beyond the norm, okay? Says it represents support, mentor, family, and family heritage, and wisdom, okay? So what they're saying is allow us to assist you. And they mean all of us. Allow the consciousness of Egypt, the consciousness of Atlantis, the consciousness of Three-Eye Atlas, the consciousness of the Maya, the consciousness of Lemuria, and more, okay? This is not limited to these, but these are the ones that I mainly work with, okay? They're saying allow us to mentor you. You are part of us, they're saying. They're saying you will remember that you rose with us. And so whoever's going to see this is going to have a deep connection to one or all of these collective consciousness groups, okay? And because we have ascended before, and I have ascended before in certain lifetimes, we remember, okay? And we remember more and more as we go. And we're getting so much cosmic support. And the more, this is also why, and they're saying this is, they're urging us to please be kind to one another. Because the more we show kindness and cohesiveness together, the quicker these portals are going to open and we're going to really start seeing what we're wanting manifested here. And they also want to emphasize that oneness does not mean, what do you want to call it? Collective conformity. Oneness just means that everyone, while unique and special, can work cohesively together, okay? So this is not about any one civilization, culture, or society dominating anything. No more. We will not do that, okay? This is about allowing for each individual to have their journey and allowing a safe space for all to experience this. And do no harm, they said. Do no harm. So this means put down your weapons. Whether you are weaponizing your words, your thoughts, your body, or actual physical weapons, lay them down. They're saying this is a divine decree. This is a divine ceasefire. 2020, as I said, that stop fighting each other, they said. Let go of the hurt, the pain, the fear, dredging yourself through the mud over someone else's problems. Let it go. They said we need to wake up to the reality that no war is real unless we make it real. So it cannot be fought without humanity. So if humanity makes a collective decision to stop, there is no tyrant that can make us fight one another. Each individual has a choice. Make the choice to live and have peace, they said. We will help you. We will mentor you. 111, as I said that. What else do you guys want to say about this? Because I have several others to make. That's it for now. They did want to emphasize that they are using the moisture in the atmosphere to communicate with us through a type of sonar technology. So apparently those of us who hear telepathically, and I do believe all humans can be telepathic, it just needs development and practice. But for those who are already actively telepathic, such as myself and others, one of the ways they're communicating with us is through the water, okay? We know that water carries frequency. I talk about this all the time. And so the water that comes through the atmosphere, water can change forms, but at the end of the day, it's still water. It carries frequency. When you engage with that frequency, you're engaging with the information of it. And that's why they're saying the atmosphere had to change for their presence to be here. So what a lot of people thought was weather manipulation, I'm not saying that wasn't done by certain nefarious groups, but I don't even, what 3i Atlas is talking about is those groups are inconsequential right now. They are no threat. So just cut that loose and stop worrying about it. Focus on what you want, and we are going to manifest this. So I'm talking hyper vigilant, focused on the love, the oneness, and the safe space for all people. Okay, so that's that one. I'm going to make the other two in just a moment. I'm going to have to just do 3 parts, I think. Hopefully this makes sense. And I love you guys so much. It's been a busy week. I have more to tell you. Next video.